Hey there, you're listening to Please Remain Heated, the theme park debate podcast where every episode we pit two iconic theme park offerings against each other in a head-to-head to see which one comes out on top. We are your hosts, Carter Morgan and Davis Morgan. How are you, Davis?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this. This is a matchup I think will be very interesting.
I've
got lots of thoughts about this, and I'm curious to see how it ends up.
Yeah. By code, we do not discuss these ahead of time. We don't even discuss them with ourselves. we don't run through them. We don't practice them. I'm very excited too. I've been thinking about this one for a while. I've had a lot of time to think because it's Thanksgiving break right now when we're recording. Yeah. What did you guys do for Thanksgiving? Davis and I are brothers for new listeners.
Yeah. My wife's parents were in town, so for context, my wife and I we're like 20 minutes away from my wife's twin brother and his wife, and that's her family. It's just her and her twin brothers. So we were here for Thanksgiving. Okay. It was good. We just had a Thanksgiving meal yesterday at like 2 p.m. It was awesome.
It was fun. This Thanksgiving, I make the rolls for our family, which is a kind of intensive process. And I was just thinking, so this Thanksgiving, I put on Defunct Land. He has a new 4-hour video out. And so I just listened to that while I was doing it. And then I was thinking last Thanksgiving, I believe I was listening to the 4-hour Jenny Nicholson video at the Star Wars Hotel.
Star Wars Hotel.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's becoming a tradition. Next, this Thanksgiving, we too will put out a 4-hour episode for our listener.
That'll be it.
And welcome all from Davis's main channel. We've gotten a couple subscribers from there. Cool to have you guys. And we're excited for this podcast to be gaining a little steam.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this episode too. Expedition Everest versus Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting one. Two iconic rides, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I remember these feeling kind of analogous to each other the first time we went to Disney World, which would have been first time we ever went. We were kids. I think it was
2007, I think.
So, yeah, I think I was 8 years old at the time. I remember that. And I remember I guess I also kind of compared it to Matterhorn, but I remember they do have they're similar in a lot of ways that we'll talk about and have some similar auras about them. But I'm excited because I love both of these rides. These are both ones that I think very highly of.
You got any memories from this? I've got a couple, but what about you?
So I think Expedition Everest was one of those ones. I think the first time that we went to Disney World, I don't think I went on it. I think I was too scared, which is interesting because I thought I remembered not being a complete and utter coward, but I guess that's not true. Because I remember there was one year at Disneyland where I made it my goal to go on every ride, and that was the first time I rode. I did Tower of Terror and California Dreamin' and the Maliboomer, which was the Maliboomer was the one I was the most scared of, and it was gone the next year. Do you
remember our brother Parker? He was obsessed with Tower of Terror, and he Mom and Dad weren't going to let him go on it. Do you remember?
So he was obsessed with it, but he had never been on it. He loved the idea of the Tower of Terror, and he was little. He was 6 or something.
Yeah, just barely tall enough. And my parents weren't going to let him go on it, and they were he was crying and crying. And I remember Dad saying, "Well, he's either going to cry now or cry later." They brought him on it.
He cried both times. Yeah, he was mortified. He was terrified of that thing. But so Expedition Everest, I remember there being, at least for me, a lot of mystique around it because I didn't go the first time, and I don't think we went back to Disney World for another 4 or 5 years. So it had been, I remember going back and then really, really loving it. I remember riding it, I think, with McKay the first time and being very shocked at there's the moment where you go backwards and it's you go through this dark tunnel and you feel some unholy forces on your body where I was what is happening? Am I upside down? I don't know what is going on. I remember that feeling. You're what even is this? So, and then Big Thunder is kind of strange because that one, I don't remember the first time I went on it. I think I went on that one when I was pretty dang little because I don't remember ever being scared of it necessarily. I was just it's all there is to do in Frontierland. So I'm I kind of compared, depends on the Frontierland, but it just always felt kind of iconic to me. And we have some fun memories of it. I remember we've talked before about the infamous, there's the goat trick on it, which was, I think, just a cast member told us about that, which is just...
That's when you're going down after the lift hill. There's a goat on a spire. This said the Disneyland version. And if you look at it while you're going around, it just kind of increases the G-force a bit.
Yeah, again, it's some sort of unholy concoction. I don't know why it works. And I've tried to I've tried to replicate it on other turns and other rides, because you'd think like if I'm just staring at something around where that goat would be, then I would feel it. But it is like you feel like you're being thrown around more than you would typically. And I don't know why that is, but yeah, this is one of those rides too that I always remember being like littler and going on it with either you or Jordan, who's our oldest brother, and like very specifically like having my toes on like my tiptoes so they wouldn't put the bar down super far. You know, I'm like trying to like make sure there's enough space there. So it's like one of these rides for me.
This is the site of one of the most legendary Morgan family moments. So if you're not familiar with this, and this is a dumb thing to do, but it's fun. So again, with the goat, when you come down the lift hill and the goat is standing up, I swear, like, we did not invent this. I think someone must have told us about this.
We didn't invent this. Somebody told us about it. I don't think it was a cast member. I feel like it must have been one of our uncles or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it was one of our uncles. And so when you're coming down the lift hill with the goat, here's what you're supposed to do. You need a penny. And the goal is to chuck the penny over the goat and then to catch it in your hands on the other side.
On the other side, because you're moving fast.
I have done this dozens of times. Every time I ride this ride, I make sure I have something, even if it's like a little pebble, to throw on the other side. And only once.
Something.
Only once in all of Morgan family history have we done it. And Davis, it was you and I.
You threw it and I caught it. There was no skill involved. It was because we had tried it a number of times on this particular trip, but you threw it and I just essentially held my hand up and it essentially smacked me right in the middle of the palm. It just like hit me and I just closed my hand. It was like a Harry Potter snitch moment of like, oh, I got it. And I remember, and we were like freaking out about that. And like, we're
still freaking out about it.
We're still talking about it. The other weird thing that I remember about this ride was specifically Jordan, and I know I did it at one point, is that near the end of the ride, there's a tree that is like weirdly overgrown, and you could if you stand up a little bit, you could always like grab a leaf. And I remember doing that a bunch of times.
I remember seeing our uncles, Spencer and Justin, do that. And I was
it's like weirdly within reach, and it's like. You know, it's just weird to have something within your reach at any point on a roller coaster. So I remember doing that too.
You leave a penny, you grab some leaves. That's the Big Thunder pact.
Take a penny, leave a penny.
Well, let's compare and contrast these two rides. You know, this is a matchup podcast, so we got to figure out where they line up. So what do both these rides have in common? So obviously, both roller coasters, both mountain themed roller coasters. Both are present in Disney World, although Big Thunder is present in several other parks, and we'll get to that. They both feature a lift hill, but not at the beginning of the ride. Big Thunder Mountain, the lift hill comes about halfway through, prior to the famous goat. And Expedition Everest, there's just like a little bit of a turn at the beginning. It's kind of strange that the lift hill doesn't begin right at the ride. They are both add-ons to their existing parks. Neither is an opening day attraction, but they were both designed by Imagineering legends. So Expedition Everest was designed by Joe Rohde, whereas Big Thunder was designed by the famous Tony Baxter. So let's talk a bit about Expedition Everest here. So that opened in 2006, designed, as we mentioned, by Joe Rohde. This is only present in Animal Kingdom, which I think is rarer these days, that you go to such efforts to build like a huge ride like this, and then it only winds up in one park. That we don't really see that. It took them 3 years to construct this ride, and it is constructed out of 38 miles of rebar. It is the tallest attraction at Disney World, 199.5 feet, beating out Tower of Terror just by 6 inches. If you're not familiar with aviation law, requires that at 200 feet, you put a blinking light on top of your structure. So that's why Disney keeps all things below 200 feet. Okay, this is insane. Okay, I found this out. The first Disney roller coaster to go forwards and backwards, but not the first to go backwards. Davis, do you have any idea what the first Disney roller coaster to go backwards was?
The first Disney was like Space Mountain after a horrible accident or something. Like that's what
You're not that far off.
Is it like it's like my guess is French Space Mountain in Disney World that had an issue with the lift hill and something slid back down.
Okay, you got kind of close. That would be Indiana Jones et le Temple du Péril. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. Backwards. Like that's just, du Péril, backwards, exclamation point. I guess at one point to try to increase, like, the ride wasn't popular enough, so they just made it backwards.
Yeah, I remember. I think
insane...
either Yesterworld or Defunctland talked about this. I remember. Yeah. I remember that. That's so funny.
Yeah,
because that ride apparently
that
stinks.
has the distinction of being the first Disney ride to ever go backwards, which is insane. It has a 44-inch height requirement, which I really like. It's shocking how young you can be and go on this ride. And like you say, like you go backwards on this ride, you have some crazy G's. I mean, I think it's really cool that kids pretty young can get on this ride.
Yeah.
And it is the host of the infamous Yeti animatronic. I remember being so hyped for this thing. Do you remember, Davis? You might have been too little, but they were showing, I think it was on like the Discovery Channel or maybe some like VHS or DVD we had, but it was like a whole little feature on the Yeti and how cool the Yeti was going to be. Do you remember that at all?
Was going to be? Yeah.
Yeah, was going to be.
No, I think I remember hearing a lot about the Yeti. Like he was almost as fabled as the real Yeti is. Like I was like, what is this thing?
I know.
And I never got to see him do anything cool. So he's equally as fabled today.
Yeah. He only operated for a few months before breaking. That if you're not familiar with this ride, the Yeti is a giant animatronic. He's supposed to kind of like reach out and swipe at you. He's so cool. He is 25 feet tall. He has 1,000 square feet of skin, and he has not worked since about 3 months after operation. Rumor has it that his figure framing has split. I've seen rumors that it's like the concrete foundation under him. From what I'm hearing, it's that the figure's framing is split, but you can't fix him unless you take apart the entire mountain. This is what Joe Rohde had to say about it. He says, "You have to understand it's a giant, complicated machine sitting on top of like a 46-foot tall tower in the middle of a finished building. So it's really hard to fix. But we are working on it, and we continue to work on it. We've tried several things, but none of them quite get to the key, turning of the 40-foot tower inside of a finished building. But we are working on it. I will fix the Yeti someday, I swear." Immediately following this in the Wikipedia entry, it says, "Rohde retired from Walt Disney Imagineering effective January 4th, 2021, never having completed the repairs to the Yeti animatronic."
Man, I was going to say about the whole backwards thing, because I thought it was funny how Indiana Jones is they just made it go backwards. Like, imagine applying that principle to a different ride. I was thinking, like, imagine you apply that to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. So instead of you going to hell at the end, you climb out of hell. That'd be awesome. It's like there's a redemption storyline. You climb out of hell, spawn in front of a train, and then go crazy.
Expedition Everest. This is just fun for me. This is one of the rides I got to do a backstage tour of when I was working at Disney, cool. Which is really cool. And so I got to be like right under the Yeti animatronic. The whole room where they house the Yeti animatronic is interesting because there's actually a lot more to it, like that you can't see in the dark. But like there's a whole like kind of behind the Yeti, like there's extra like non-functional track, and there's like a mine cart. You can't see any of it, but you can see it if it's all lit up on a backstage tour. Just for me. Yeah. Anything else about Expedition Everest, Davis, that you can think of?
I mean, and I'm sure we'll talk about this later. I love so much about this ride. I love the Yeti theming. I think it's kind of uniquely intimidating. Like I think it, and the Yeti figure, even though I've never seen him do anything besides, just stare at me. He's pretty scary. Like it is. I remember writing it for the first time. Again, when I wrote it for the first time, I probably have been like 13 or 14, past the age when I was. I guess I was still scared of a lot of stuff then, but I wasn't scared of Disneyland stuff. But I do remember being like kind of freaked out when I saw it again, because it's the way that it's done now as like the static figure. I think it makes it more uncanny. Like I'm like, what? And you can like they don't even try to point your attention to the thing either. You're just like, was that it? But yeah, I love the Yeti theming. I think it's really cool, and I think it's a great ride to put in Animal Kingdom because you have to get a thrill ride in there somehow, and the zoo wasn't cutting it, so they're like, let's just put a giant Yeti in here or something.
Yeah, I think Expedition Everest is one of the best examples of plussing an entire park, and we'll talk about that as we get into our matchups. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This opened in 1979 at Disneyland. It is present in Disney World, but also obviously present in Disneyland, Paris, and Tokyo. And the Paris version is really, really neat. Their Frontierland like has a lot of like interplay with their Haunted Mansion, and it's awesome. I was reading the backstory about this. Apparently, the trains are possessed, which is insane to me. Like, that's why they're like operating without like a conductor. I never once asked myself why the train did not have a conductor. The answer is they're cursed and possessed. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The architecture, the rock work, is based on the Disneyland one is based on the hoodoos of Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah, which I thought was pretty cool. I myself live in Utah. In Magic Kingdom, Tokyo, and Paris versions of the ride, the rockwork designs are based on the rising buttes that are located in Arizona and at Monument Valley in Utah. Walt Disney Imagineering designed the attraction to make it appear that the rocks were there originally, and the track was built around the rocks, unlike a number of earlier minecart rides, which were built the other way around, where you build the tracks and then kind of build the rocks around it. And I'll say they really succeeded at that. I mean, this is, an iconic kind of facade. The dinosaur skeleton you see kind of towards the end of the ride is present in all the rides except Paris. I wonder if that has anything to do with the fact that theirs is has more Haunted Mansion elements to it.
Yeah, and I think the French in general just don't believe in dinosaurs. So. No, I do love that Haunted Mansion connection. So I've never been to Paris Disneyland before. I do really want to go someday, almost entirely because of the Paris Haunted Mansion, which I've seen ride-throughs of Phantom Manor. I think it's so cool. It's very scary, more scary than I think a lot of the other Haunted Mansions, and I personally love that. If you come from my other channel, you know I love scary things, but the fact that the two play with each other, and I know there's this, I think there's something about the lady, the ghost bride at Phantom Manor was married to somebody who was their dad was they were a land baron of the Thunder Ridge or something. So there's a lot of cool stuff there, we're not going to talk about Phantom Manor all the time, but the facade of Phantom Manor I also really love. Very traditional haunted house looking. So I love Big Thunder Mountain Railroad as well. That's why I think this is going to be a tough matchup, because these are both very iconic to me. And Big Thunder is one of the most iconic Disney rides to me, bordering on maybe the most iconic. It's one of the first that I think of. I just think because of that amazing facade.
I completely agree. As far as I wanted to share two more fun facts from this. This was salvaged from the Western River Expedition. If you're not familiar with the Western River Expedition, this was supposed to be this huge, kind of complex. It was supposed to have kind of a Pirates of the Caribbean style ride, and then it was going to have a minecart ride, and they're all going to kind of work with one another. It got canceled because they were building Pirates of the Caribbean and Magic Kingdom, and it just got too expensive. They did salvage this from it. And this ride helps you pass kidney stones, which I thought was crazy. This is a quote I found. In the October 2016 Journal of the American Osteopathic Association, a paper entitled blah, blah, blah was published. The paper's author, Dr. Wardinger, found that patients of his had passed kidney stones after riding Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Walt Disney World on vacation, including one who passed 3 stones on 3 separate occasions. The doctor then tested this result with the permission of Disney with a 3D model of a kidney by riding the ride over 20 times. The study found nearly 70% of the time the kidney stone was passed, with the results varying depending on which row they were seated. The study also found that Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith failed to cause this result. This is insane.
It's got to do with those G's, man, that you hit around the goat. I hope for everybody's sake that when he says the kidney stones were passed, they were passed later that night and not on the ride.
I know. Oh gosh.
Some poor sucker's I caught my penny, and he's it's not a penny.
I don't think they're shooting kidney stones out with the velocity
straight through your pants. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the core of this podcast is our matchups. We have 11 different criteria. We pit these two rides against each other to see which one wins. The winner will be the one who wins the most matchups. Since it's 11, the total score will sum to 11. So, 3-8, 5-6. In the event where Davis and I are super deadlocked, we will award half a point to each ride. And we want you listeners to get in on the fun too. If you comment we have a pinned comment on our YouTube channel, and we'll add this comment on our Spotify and really wherever we can put comments, where you can comment on next week's matchup and predict the score. And if you do, we'll shout you out in this podcast and say what score you got. And whoever gets the score exactly right will go on our list of official ball knowers, and we'll try to shout you out at the end as well. So the podcast is still starting up, so we don't have really anyone who gave an official score prediction, but I did want to shout out some of our commenters on our last episode. Someone asked, are we talking Expedition Everest in concept or Expedition Everest as it currently is with Disco Yeti? Because that might change things for some people. This comes from Goddess of Wisdom. And to that I say, Goddess of Wisdom, we got to take the ride as it is today. I agree. If the Yeti was working, that'd be awesome. But we got Disco Yeti. We got to live with Disco Yeti. And Robert DeMarco, 5209 says, I can't give a full rundown as I've never been on Expedition Everest, but Thunder Mountain has to be more iconic in my opinion. I've been wondering that myself when we get to that final matchup. Because like you said, Davis, you find this ride to be incredibly iconic.
Yeah, I think at least, because again, we don't talk about these beforehand, and I don't even think like specifically about, I mostly, in preparation for this, I mostly just kind of think of the ride. Sometimes I'll watch like some little ride through of it, but I'm never like specifically 100% like trying to nail down my score beforehand because I don't want to go in with any conceived notions. But this is one that's really interesting because we'll have to see how this goes. But for me, I'm thinking like these two rides, for me personally, are around the same level of enjoyment. However, I think potentially the score might be more one-sided than we're expecting. I think this is a game of margins right here. I think it'll be like we have to give it to this just barely, but it's like something's gonna win by 1% 8 times in a row or something. That's kind of what I'm expecting, but we'll see.
I mean, and it's just winner takes all. Again, except for deadlock, because you're right. If you were to say like, okay, there's one total possible point, and you split it up like 0-9 to 0-1 or something, then these might come out really close to each other. But I think you're right. It might just all be about that margin. So with that, let's get into it. This is the core of the podcast, the 11 matchups. The winner of the most possible points out of these matchups will be declared the better ride. So let's get started. We have round 1. Every great attraction makes a promise the moment it comes into view. That first glimpse shapes everything that follows. The winner of this round will be the ride with the best external facade / show building. These are two titans squaring up against each other.
This is brutal right here.
Oh, how do you do this?
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, for me, Thunder Mountain is unbelievably iconic. Like,
yes,
it looks incredible. Nothing about it looks fake to me. I think there's just, it looks so natural. And like you said, it really does feel like it was, the rock was built first and then you have the track built around it. I also love Expedition Everest, but
it's huge.
It is massive, which is really cool. I was actually shocked that it's bigger than Tower of Terror, but it is massive. Right? It's really cool. It feels like it's more distant. Maybe that's why it maybe doesn't look quite as big. But I mean, is there as much going on detail work wise from a facade perspective? Because we're not talking the entire experience, but. And I'm going to look up just a little picture here just to make sure I'm not selling this short.
We'll put up pictures too for our...
Yeah.
I might have to do that on every episode just so that it's fresh in the field.
That is so cool looking. And the little temple with the lift hill is really great too. And the snow on top.
But Big Thunder.
I'm telling you, it's a game of margins.
I'm looking at this right now too. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what does Expedition Everest have going for us? It's huge, which is awesome. I think it is more imposing across like an entire theme park view. Like you can see Expedition Everest from a lot of places in the park. Yeah. And I think that's neat. But Big Thunder, I'll say Big Thunder is beautiful. I think that's where I'm getting at. Like I find Expedition Everest very impressive, but Big Thunder is beautiful. That is a work of art.
Seriously, that red rock is super striking. It like is Frontierland, like that's the only thing you think of. And it
looks more natural.
Yeah, for sure. I think, maybe this is silly because Expedition Everest is so massive, but I feel like you could maybe go through Animal Kingdom and maybe not like notice it as much. I mean, it is big, but it's kind of in the background.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, versus Big Thunder, where it's like there's no way you're missing that. It's so iconic.
Look, I'll say Expedition Everest. It's huge. It's imposing. It's a spectacle. But I think I got to give it to Big Thunder again, just because this is beautifully crafted.
Yeah. That's right. And the fact that it was made so long ago too was really impressive.
Right?
I know that
this
did
is
a lot of
the
work
test
to
time.
keep it, but
and
yeah, I'm Big Thunder for this one as well.
I gotta go Big Thunder too. Again, and like you said, this is a margin.
Yeah,
a margin battle, but it's got to be Big Thunder. So, all right,
all you
score.
Yeti heads are panicking right now.
We got 1 Big Thunder, 0 Expedition Everest. Okay, we got to go to the next round. Round 2. For many attractions, the real journey begins long before you board. The queue sets the mood, builds anticipation, and tells its own story. The winner of this round will be the ride with the best themed line or queue. Okay, I think Expedition Everest might come back a bit here.
I think I'm there. I mean, to Big Thunder Mountain's credit, there is a man that yells, "This is the wildest ride in the wilderness," which is pretty cool. I will, I don't know where they dragged that man up from. I don't know if he was, native to whatever backwoods Big Thunder is from. I don't know if he was in the right state of mind to be making an announcement like that, but I do appreciate the gusto he has. But Expedition Everest, man. The Expedition Everest is a freaking... Again, I think it's an intimidating queue. Like, you have all these pictures of, like, these depictions of the Yeti. I love that it's all these different, like, interpretations of this thing, because supposedly, like, nobody has, like, video evidence of this thing. You have these cool kind of shrine areas, which go perfectly with all the coins that people throw in there. That's that adds to it. It's a queue that you feel like you move through pretty speedily, but like I feel like there's so much to look at, a lot of old like snowshoes and stuff. It sets such a great, intimidating, imposing mood. And I mean, Big Thunder's got it's beautiful because you're walking through that area, and there's the one kind of right before you get to the loading area, you're in this kind of train station, which is kind of cool. It's very minecart themed, but I just think there's not like in terms of set dressing, there's way less going on than Expedition Everest.
It's very atmospheric, but Expedition Everest is very atmospheric as well.
Yeah.
There's a point against Big Thunder. It does that dumb thing where it makes you choose which side you're going to board on, left or right. It's the most stressful decision of your trip.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of fond memories of the Big Thunder queue, in particular, rooting through the grass or ground for pebbles or pennies to throw over. And yeah, I think there's something very, very pleasant about the atmosphere of Big Thunder. But the storytelling from the Expedition Everest queue is really impressive. And like you're in like a Himalayan kind of tour agency. There's all like the backpacking gear. You move through kind of like the tea garden, which has those cool shrines you're talking about. And that Yeti museum, And here's why I think this goes to Expedition Everest. This is one of the very few rides where I am sad if I do the fast pass or the single rider. Because I want to spend more time in this queue. That little Yeti museum, I feel like I never get enough time in it. And there are so many cool exhibits that the Imagineers put such care into it. This is Expedition Everest.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Again, it's just so atmospheric. It's had so much like effort put into it. And again, that's not to take away from Big Thunder Mountain, but it's just so cool, man. Yeah,
it's Expedition Everest. Okay, that gives us 1 Expedition Everest, 1 Big Thunder. Plenty of game left. It's anyone's game.
Thunder Bros who can't rejoice quite yet. The Yeti heads live to fight another day.
Okay, round 3. The heart of any attraction lies in how it moves you, literally. The winner of this round will be the ride with the best ride vehicle and ride system. Okay.
Very similar, I would say.
But the ride vehicle does count. And I'll say, I think the train on Big Thunder is cooler.
Yeah, for sure. They're both being pulled by the front, but the front of Big Thunder is very atmospheric and cool. And then I guess like the ride system, right? I mean, you're thinking about, I'm just trying to think like, cause you move backwards through We're counting that.
I think you do. I think you have to count.
Okay.
They're both roller coasters. I think the ride system, the fact that you can go backwards in Expedition Everest is a huge point in its favor. But I also think that this is one of the areas where Expedition Everest suffers because on Big Thunder, atmospherically, it's so clear that I'm getting onto a mine train. Whereas Expedition Everest looks too much like I'm being strapped into a roller coaster.
Yeah. And, you know, it might not be immediately apparent that there's a ghost piloting this this mine train, but I guess you can't see him anyway, so that makes sense. But he's not one of the Haunted Mansion ghosts you can actually see. So, yeah, I think Big Thunder's car is so iconic. I love the orange color on it. Kind of fits with the vibe of the whole thing.
I like, and this is like a little point, I do like you can get 3 to a row on Big Thunder if they're smaller. So I will often ride this with like 2 of my sons, which is something you can't do on Expedition Everest.
Yeah.
So I think what you're asking, this is funny because this matchup is ride vehicle and ride system, but I think we're kind of pitting the two against each other. I think, to me, I think this is a bit of a whiff on Expedition Everest's part. This ride is so beautifully themed, but these ride vehicles aren't great. They do sometimes they emit steam, which is cool, but it's a very stock ride vehicle. But it goes backwards.
It does go backwards, which is pretty cool.
But you only do that once, whereas you're in the ride vehicle for the entire time.
Yeah, but if you're in the back of Expedition Everest, you will experience that going backwards. You might not even experience the front of the mine train if you're in the back of Big Thunder Mountain. You won't even see it the entire time.
Yeah. But you see it pull into the station.
That is true, and I do think because I'm one of those obnoxious people that like asks to be put in the back of these rides.
Oh, me
I think
too.
It's way better.
I'm polite. And I say, well, wait as long as you want, as we need to.
Yeah,
but
you're like, I was there for 6 hours one day. I just kept letting people on.
Worth every minute.
So I do think if you were front of the car Andy on this one, you would get a better experience at Big Thunder Mountain because you'd actually be looking at something.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. I can see into this, but
if you're on the front of Expedition Everest when it goes backwards, you probably get the G's a little more intensely.
The better G's. I was in the back of that thing. I don't know if you're getting better G's on the front of that thing. I don't even think I would survive it because I was seriously. I felt like there was something possibly wrong. I guess I don't know if this counts with the ride vehicle system. I don't know. I personally have never passed a kidney stone on Expedition Everest, but I do think I might have to like. Is there a way to reliably give myself a kidney stone so when I'm at Disneyland in February I can go see if it works? But
Can we give it to one of these? Or is this a deadlock?
Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll go because in my mind, in my heart of hearts, I have one that I would pick. But
are we just gonna shout it out?
We're gonna shout it out.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Big Thunder.
Big Thunder. Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I was kind of expecting. Again, I think this is like if I were to give them a rating out of like 100, or I have to do a percentage, it would be like 55% Big Thunder, 45%. Yeah, margin game, dude.
It's a margin
game.
Winning
the electoral vote.
Yeah, I think the ride vehicle is just too iconic on this one. Okay, so that's a score. 1 Expedition Everest, 2 Big Thunder. Well, let's hope it doesn't pull away. All right. Round 4. Stories are the backbone of unforgettable attractions. From setup to payoff, the strongest rides pull you into a world that feels alive. The winner of this round will be the ride that tells the best story. Oh, Yeti heads.
Yeti heads. You might have to rejoice.
maybe you got something here. Okay, we hyped this story up. I mean, look, they're both roller coasters.
Yeah.
They're
not so much. Not a ton you can do on a lot of these roller coasters.
But I I always say I'm not really an amusement park fan. I'm a theme park fan.
For sure.
People. I have friends who will say, "Oh, but the roller coasters at Six Flags or Knott's Berry are so much better." But I like a good roller coaster that feels immersive, that tells a story. There are very few roller coasters in the world that tell a better story than Expedition Everest.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Again, it feels very mythical when you're on it. You're like, you're going on your expedition on Everest, but you have to hopefully find this Yeti. You reach the point where you see that the tracks have been torn up, which is really cool.
It's so
You
cool.
see this like, and then obviously the infamous backwards moment happens right there. But that's a really fun moment of like, what's going to happen here? Well, I'm going to go backwards. And there's a Yeti with a disco ball somewhere in there, which is also kind of cool. But like, even without, like, okay, you got a goat on Big Thunder Mountain, which is
you can throw a penny over
cool. You can throw a penny over it. I don't know if that counts as the intended story of the ride, but at this point, it's like a disco Yeti is better than no Yeti. Come on. And Big Thunder, there's a lot of stuff I love about it. I did not know the mine trains were haunted. I mean, I knew that was part of the French experience. I didn't know if that was if we were doing that here in the States, but I guess so.
It just reeks of like a retcon, right? Of kind of like, we should probably figure out why these trains are piloted.
It was haunted the whole time.
I know. Yeah, again, like, look, this is how the podcast works. We have to pit these rides against each other. And just because Big Thunder, we're not debating whether these are excellent rides. It's clear that these are both excellent rides, and there are other podcasts or channels you can talk about that just talk about if a ride is good or bad. That's not what we do here, folks. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is which ride is better, and Big Thunder is a fantastic ride. We're not disputing that. There's no story.
Yeah, there's nothing going on there.
There's no story.
There's a cool dinosaur. I don't know how you got there.
Yeah, maybe we'll find that out one day. But you know what? We don't have a cool museum dedicated to the dinosaur telling us about how we're going to encounter him.
Maybe if they did, if it was Expedition Dino. Just...
a dinosaur-themed roller coaster. I guess Universal's done that with the Velocicoaster. And you know what? Velocicoaster? Excellent roller coaster. What do we got to say? It's Everest.
Disney's never done any sort of, for sure. But Disney's never done any sort of dinosaur thrill ride. I'm sure if they did, it would be awesome. Sure, it would be dark 95% of the time.
They definitely wouldn't just take a Superior Rides ride system and then
I wish they had some of the voice clips from Indiana Jones in there too. You could just hear it like while you're going down the thing. You just hear like, I am the deity that can grant you many wishes. You're like, what? Like they dub over it. I am the dinosaur that can grant you 3 wishes. You're like, what? This is awesome. Like,
here's what I'll say. I think we'll have to match up against each other one day, Indiana Jones versus Dinosaur. Yeah. I think Dinosaur will have some sleeper hits, especially in the soundscape department. Okay. Just because it has so many famous lines, like "Not our dino," or "They're not gonna make it." I think you mean
it has like. It mostly has one iconic line, but it's said about a dozen times, so it gets that in its favor.
Okay. So Expedition Everest, 2 points. Big Thunder, 2 points. Now I'll point out in our last episode, Toy Story Mania versus Astro Blasters, I won't spoil it for anyone. We did have a shootout a bit at the beginning, but the ride started to pull away as we went further on. So who knows? These two are keeping it close. Okay, round 5. Whether it's a sweeping score, environmental cues, or subtle auditory details, great attractions use sound to draw you deeper into their world. The winner of this round will be the ride with the best soundscape. Not super strong showings from either of these guys.
I can tell you, I know which one of these is louder. Big Thunder Mountain's indoor lift hill is one of the most ear-assaulting things. There is, at the end, this is a fun family story. So we used to, growing up, there's 6 kids in our family, and we used to drive a big old brown van. And my dad and our parents, they would often play like the Disneyland soundtrack. They had it on disc, and I remember that. And I remember at one point we were listening to just like I don't know if it's Big Thunder Mountain. It's somebody playing the accordion. And I remember specifically when I was little, like I was probably too old. I probably should have known what an accordion is. I was like, what's with the song with the guy on the Lorenzo? I thought the accordion was called a Lorenzo, which obviously incorrect. But I think if you were to have a second choice name for an accordion, I think a Lorenzo is like, it sounds like like it would be called that. So
if someone came up to me with their accordion and said I nicknamed it Lorenzo, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I do think you do hear the guy on the Lorenzo at the end of the ride. But yeah, neither of these have. I mean, you have like the wah sound of the
Wait, what was that?
The whistle, it was like some sort of Mario noise. Wow. But you have like the whirring, whistling sound that you hear occasionally on Big Thunder Mountain. But that's not
And
a whole
Expedition Everest,
lot.
the bird kind of rises up at the animatronic bird at the mangled tracks and goes, "Caw!" So that's
Okay, we got
that's something.
that. And
Okay.
there's there's a lot of like wind blowing sound, especially when you get to the peak, which is trying to like convince you that you are on Everest, which is impressive because you're certainly in Orlando, Florida.
Okay, I've got something which is going to seal the deal for one of these rides. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
If we're counting pre-show, then
You gotta count it.
100%. Yeah. I mean, come on.
I-
I already shouted Lorenzo out earlier, so
Yeah, I just think, like, again, not a super strong showing from either of these here. They're roller coasters, I get it. But come on. I mean,
Yeah.
if you hear this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness, you know exactly what it's from.
I don't even know. They must tell you something in Expedition Everest. If there's somebody who gives a pre-show. Yeah.
I'm with you. There has to be,
Yeah.
but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. That seals the deal.
Yeah, you know, it's not a strong win, but it's a win. Okay, Expedition Everest 2, Big Thunder 3.
Dude, the guy that did the voice lines for the Yeti is fuming right now, dude. He's so pissed off. He's like Alan Tudyk or whoever they got to do it. He's like, they don't appreciate my masterpiece.
The guy who did the motion capture for the Yeti has been fuming for years.
No, it's just like they just paid him a royalty deal where it's like however long it was in operation, he was going to get a cut of the profits. It's only in operation for like 6 months. So, oh, sorry.
It's a Yeti conspiracy. They accidentally made a really bad royalty deal for the motion capture guy.
He was kidding. They somehow gave him 150% of all profits generated by the entire park. They're like, crap.
We gotta kill the Yeti. All right. Oh man, this is close. So we're 2 Everest, 3 Big Thunder. Okay, we got to figure out who's the winner. Round 6. Theme parks thrive on innovation, and some attractions stand out for the tools, systems, and effects that power their magic. The winner of this round will be the ride with the best technology.
Tricky.
They've done a good job plussing Big Thunder over the years.
Yeah.
It's got like the cool on the second lift hill, like the explosions with like the steam.
The projection mapping they have in there is pretty cool
the
too.
projection
with,
mapping
like,
is
the
great.
Fuses you see on the wall.
What else does it have? I mean, aside from that, it's a pretty standard roller coaster.
Yeah, I think that's it in terms of kind of technology that you're seeing on Big Thunder. Expedition Everest has a broken Yeti.
Yeah, how much credit do we give the Yeti for what it was supposed to be?
I think you have to kind of discredit it because what it was supposed to do tore the Yeti in half, man.
In which case,
you have one pretty cool projection mapping scene when you see the silhouette of the Yeti who tears the track apart, which is pretty cool. And the ride vehicle does go backwards. Pretty cool.
Well, I was about to say, I think that this is where Expedition Everest might give it its flowers for going backwards. I feel like you can't do these matchups and not give it credit for going backwards. It goes backwards.
Especially because Le Temps de Péril, the French Indiana Jones, I think if I'm not mistaken, I could be incorrect here. I feel like the ride vehicle on that one is maybe just a one car.
It's just a one cart, I want to say.
So it makes it very easy to just make that thing go backwards. I do think having a roller coaster that goes backwards but is a long chain of cars is pretty interesting. That might even be why the front of the car is so boring, is because they need to do this something.
Also, it has a little bird that comes up and goes, "Caw!"
Yeah, I know that's the most iconic part. And I mean, I've been on a couple. I'm trying to think about roller coasters I've been on that have been backwards. I went on, what's the name of it? Not X2. Oh, Full Throttle at Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. Nice. They have one that shoots you backwards for a little bit. It's not very long. Nothing as impressive as Expedition Everest, which again, and Full Throttle is only, I think, a 3-car ride system. So,
also the projection mapping, or I guess just the projection, because it's mapped onto a wall in Expedition Everest, is used to better effect. It gives you like an actual story moment, which I think is neat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I also think the going backwards is used as a story beat as well. it's fun that you come up, you see the tracks mangled, and then and then it goes backwards.
It's like your last resort is like, oh my, we have to backtrack on this thing, which is again really cool. It feels like you've literally hit the end of the road, and you're like, okay, well, I gotta back up through this. And it is interesting that I wonder. I'd be so curious. I mean, you've seen it when the lights have been on. Did you go on it when the lights were on, or
we didn't get to go on it? No, we just got to do
I was
walking
like,
tour.
I don't know what, because it's very dark when you're going backwards through that thing.
Yes, super dark.
That's why I felt some unholy combination of forces on my body when I went through it, because I had no idea I couldn't even see anything. But so I'd be curious to see what that even looks like, because it is so disorienting. But I think I would give this to Expedition Everest.
I think I would too. You know, it's Big Thunder's got a bit working against it. And I'll throw this out to any of our listeners. This is one of the matchups that we feel less confident about and keeping it in the rotation. So if you have a matchup you think would be better to replace this, let us know, just because sometimes I feel like we're punishing rides that are masterpieces in their own, but just older. And so...
Yeah, and when you say matchup, right, you're talking about the criteria.
The criteria, one of these rounds. So if you feel like there's a better... a better category to compare these across to replace the technology round, let us know. But it's too late for today, and this point goes to Expedition Everest, which gives us 3 Everest, 3 Big Thunder. Ooh. At the halfway point, did you expect this, Davis, for them to be perfectly matched?
I mean, like I said, I felt like it would be one-sided. I was picturing something like 8-3 to Big Thunder. I thought Big Thunder would take it.
Okay.
But yeah,
I guess Big Thunder still could pull away, but yeah, we're at halftime here, and we have reached a perfectly even score. So it all depends on the last 5, which brings us to round 7. From the earliest days of Disneyland, Walt's goal was simple: to build a place where the whole family could have fun together. Some rides still excel at creating those collective moments. The winner of this round will be the ride that creates the best family or group experience. Okay. Big Thunder, you can see 3 to a row. So that's something.
I can tell you how exciting these are for the whole family.
Okay. How much of this depends on the goat challenge? Because
that is interaction heretofore unseen on a Disney ride. But
that is the best family experience I think I have ever had on a ride, which is you and I chucking the penny and catching it.
Yeah, so obviously there's some nostalgia bias there. Yeah. I mean, you have kids. This is one I feel like a kid would be more likely to go on Big Thunder.
This is a great first coaster.
Expedition. Yeah, really great first coaster. I think it might have been Parker and Kennedy. It's our two youngest siblings. I think it was their first like bigger ride they did. I remember them going on it.
Expedition Everest. Oh, it's fun to go backwards in the dark. I mean, you're in the dark, so I don't know if it's a group experience. I'll say taking new people on this ride when it goes backwards is like a really cool thing to watch.
Yeah,
but that's only the first time. Big Thunder.
You know, that might be a good criteria going forward, is best like first time experience.
Best
if you're
first time
taking
experience.
somebody on it for the first time, how would you? Because I think we're probably pretty similar. Where I love. Even if I've been on something a bunch of times, I love seeing somebody else experience it for the first time. It's like one of my favorite things. And so, yeah, I think Expedition Everest would definitely have that going
we might have to do that. I'm with you, because I worry that overlaps a bit too much with our most kind of wow moments test. But that's another one where I'm thinking about swapping it out.
Yeah.
Okay. It's still unclear exactly what the purpose of these rounds specifically are, because when we talk about what creates a better family or group experience, part of me feels like you should give credit to a ride that's a little more accessible. A ride where you can take younger kids on it, and not even just younger kids, but not everyone is a thrill junkie.
Yeah,
right.
And Expedition Everest is certainly more thrilling.
And I don't necessarily want to always ding the more thrilling ride in this matchup as we go forward. But I'll also say that, like, again, it's right here in the test. Walt's goal was simple: to build a place where the whole family could have fun together. And I think there's a reason for so long in Disney's history, they didn't build a roller coaster that went backwards. They didn't build a roller coaster that went upside down, because they really, really prize family interactions. Or again, if you're not going with kids, just group interaction. And I think you should reward a ride that facilitates that better than others. And so even though Expedition Everest is more thrilling, and I think has some more of those moments that really pop, I think as far as what makes it accessible and a better family experience, and I can just speak this way, my boys love Big Thunder. I always have to kind of convince them to get on Everest. For me, I got to give it to Big Thunder.
Yeah, I think, because thinking back to our trips when we were going as kids, like Expedition Everest is one of those rides where it's like, you know, even up probably until they were a little bit older, our two youngest siblings, we would probably say, oh, you guys go on like the one of the animal walks or something and look at that, and we'll go on Expedition Everest because it's only the older kids want to ride it. And I think even the first time we went, I remember seeing, because I didn't go on Everest, I remember seeing the Oz of Enya, whatever, the Lion King live show when you guys went on that, because I was like too scared to go on it. And I don't think you would have that quite as much with Expedition Everest. Now that I'm older, I want to see those animals like crazy, dude. That's like, that's probably my favorite part of Animal Kingdom. So I think I would give it to Big Thunder for this one as well.
Yeah, you got to give it to Big Thunder. And listeners, keep us honest with that round, just because we don't want this to turn into a thing where it's always the least thrilling attraction. But I think for this episode, it's Big Thunder. Okay, man, the shootout continues. Everest 3, Big Thunder 4. It's going to come down to the wire here. All right, round 8. Great rides build anticipation, set up reveals, and deliver big payoffs. The ones bursting with standout scenes consistently leave guests talking long after the ride ends. The winner of this round will be the ride that has the most or best wow moments. And this might be where Everest, who got a little penalized in the last round, comes back swinging here.
I think the shootout will continue. I mean, Big Thunder Mountain, since they've added the dynamite sequence, I would say that's kind of a wow moment. That's probably the only wow moment. Like, it's a cool scene. There's the lift hill with the bats and the stalactites, which is kind of cool. That's like a fun scene to look at. But like, you know what's one thing that this is a dumb thing to penalize it on, but I always remember as a kid being like, why don't you, because you know Splash Mountain's so iconic because you have this big peak and you have the big thing that comes right out of the peak, essentially. The big. I always remember thinking like, why don't you do that in Big Thunder Mountain? Like I was always imagining going up into the whole thing and like coming down right at the top, which you don't do, which is a dumb thing to penalize it for. But
I always thought Grizzly Bear River Run, for some reason, in my mind, there was water pouring out of the mouth of like the grizzly bear, and you fell out of it.
You went on a free fall.
That never happened. But like as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, like that's gonna be scary when I have to do that.
It is so crazy. I mean, this is a tangent, but like it is, when I think about California Adventure, my mind does not go to that Grizzly River Run like at all anymore. I mostly think of Tower of Terror / Guardians of the Galaxy now, where it's like that's what I think of as the big, or California Screamin' / Incredicoaster. It's like that's interesting. But anyway, Expedition Everest. I mean, come on, you have the backwards moment, which is very wow for me. Yeah. The Yeti, even in its weird, janky state right now, it is just kind of crazy to see something that big, even if it's not moving. It is like impressive to see. Yeah. So I think for me, I'm giving this one to Expedition Everest.
Yeah, Everest has, after you see the Yeti too, I believe you have like another, like a big drop, which is really fun. And also, I think where they project the Yeti on the wall and see him like tear up the tracks. Like, it's cool in a roller coaster, get kind of like a breather moment, but in a way that's, you're not like, oh good, like let's relax for a bit. Like it's still like heightening the tension in a ride. Like very impressive for a ride to again escalate while remaining still, especially a roller coaster. Okay, Big Thunder.
Think, and this is like maybe a lame, like a wow moment, but since Expedition Everest is so tall, there's a very tall lift hill, which means you get to look over the entire park. And I love any ride that lets you look over the entire park.
You can see Epcot.
It's really cool. And that's always like, especially at nighttime, those were always, I remember as a kid, those were kind of some of the craziest moments, just to see everything and being like, whoa, like you can see this from here. Like, so that's in its favor for me.
If you're a Latter-day Saint, you can also see the temple. I guess everyone can see the Orlando temple, but
you can only see it if you're Mormon.
Yeah, I think that lift hill I would classify as a wow moment. Whereas compared to Big Thunder, it's like I'll say that they're like I love any roller coaster that blends like roller coaster and dark ride, and Big Thunder has some sections like especially the caverns and like the bats, which are like dark ridey, which is cool. The projection mapping with the barrels exploding is fun, but yeah, when you stack them up against each other, I think this is clearly Expedition Everest.
Yeah.
All right, we got to give it to Everest. Oh my gosh, it continues. This has been okay. So this is what's crazy. So one, we're at 4 and 4, Everest and Big Thunder. But here's what's crazy: it is alternated exactly between the two rides.
It's been right back to back.
Yeah,
dude, freaking, who scored the first point?
Big Thunder.
I mean, Everest is gonna take it, right?
Wait,
or am I doing my math wrong?
I think that means Big Thunder would take it.
Oh yeah,
so get one more point, one more round.
Yes.
Okay.
Never mind.
3 rounds left, and we gotta figure out which one of these rides is the better ride. Okay. Round 9. Parks thrive on loyal fans, and repeat visitors know the value of a ride that stays exciting no matter how many times you board. The best attractions keep revealing new touches or delivering thrills that never wear thin. The winner of this round will be the ride that offers the most re-ridability. Ooh. Oh gosh. These are both really, really good in this department. Any roller coaster is really, really good in this department, but these are both excellent roller coasters.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, kind of a meta aspect to it, but Expedition Everest does almost always have a shorter line. I'm always shocked by how quickly you get through that line.
Yeah.
It's weird because I guess everybody's on Flight of Passage now, but I'm like,
I wonder how much of that is capacity. Like,
it does move pretty dang fast. Like the loading, it's a massive car. It loads really fast. But I mean, Big Thunder Mountain's no slouch in that department, but it is like the only thing to do in Frontierland, at least in Disneyland. So
Epic Universe's ride Monsters Unchained, I was almost like worried about it when I visited, because that was the one where I was like, I gotta get on this one. If I don't get on anything else, I gotta get on Monsters Unchained. And so I rode it very first in the day, and then was shocked for the rest of the day that it only had like a 15-minute wait. I'm like, oh geez, like, is this ride just not popular? It's too scary for kids. And I found out later it mows through people. It's so stinking efficient. And so maybe there's something about Expedition Everest. I think the fact that its height limit is a little taller obviously weeds out a certain number of families. Big Thunder. Okay. Again, Big Thunder would win this for me because you can throw the penny over the goat, and I would ride that all day just to try to catch that penny.
I know,
but I don't think we can quite give it credit for throwing the penny.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards, and maybe this isn't in the spirit of, because I was like, I'm leaning towards giving it a half point each, but I feel like the half point was supposed to be we were split on our decisions.
Yeah, I liked your approach where we had to. I think if it gets down to it, we've got to do what we did earlier, and we just have to blurt it out.
Yeah, and then if it's split, then we can give it the half point.
Yeah, I think that's how you got to do it.
Give me like 5 seconds to lock in my answer.
Wait, just a sec. I don't think we fully. Okay, what about this for Big Thunder? This is the best ride in the park to do when the fireworks are going.
That's a good point.
And so, does it get any credit there? Because you can kind of get two very unique experiences based on if you ride it. I'll also say this for Big Thunder. I think it's a better night ride than Expedition Everest.
Yeah. Wasn't Animal Kingdom closed at like 6 p.m. anyway?
Yeah, I know, right?
Can't even get a night ride on there.
But Expedition Everest is just more thrilling. And I think, look, the moment I get off both of these rides, which one am I itching to get back on more? It's Everest.
Yeah,
Everest is the one I'd rather do. But I do think there's more variability in Big Thunder. And you can try to grab the leaves before you leave.
You can get yelled at by a cast member. I do like when somebody pays attention to me.
Okay. Do we got to shout it out?
I think we got to shout it out.
Oh gosh. Okay. I need a few seconds to lock in my answer too, because
mine.
You've locked in yours.
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Everest.
Big Thunder.
Oh, we're split. Yeah,
we're split.
Everest for me is.
Why is it Everest for you?
I just think if I were at equal distance from either of these rides, which I know it doesn't make sense, but in my mind, I'm thinking like it's later in the day. Which one do I need to get back on before I leave? It's Expedition Everest for me. I love Big Thunder Mountain, but I feel like oftentimes I could ride that once and be like,
Right.
that was fun. I really liked it. But like for me, a ride that's really re-rideable is I love rides that are super thrilling because it's just like that is always, they build entire amusement parks where it's just thrill rides. That Six Flags I went to, I really enjoyed because I was just love being thrown around. And Big Thunder doesn't quite have that going in its favor. There are some thrilling elements to it, but Everest to me is like, I feel like anytime I am at Animal Kingdom, I'm at least riding Everest twice, oftentimes 3 times. If I'm at Magic Kingdom / Disneyland, I'd be fine doing Big Thunder once in a day, but multiple times over the trip.
You know what? And I think I'm in complete agreement with you. For me, it's the fireworks. This is when the fireworks are going, I always want to like prioritize any ride that is more in demand because obviously the fireworks chew up a bunch of people and get them off rides. And even though I'm thinking like, okay, I should get on Runaway Railway or I should get on Tiana's because those have had pretty long lines, I'm always drawn and think, oh, but Everest, or not Everest, but Big Thunder. I
but
could.
Everest, you liar.
and I think like Big Thunder at night with the fireworks is a truly magical experience, and so I had to give it there. But I think you make some valid points, and I could be swayed. But we're locked in. So this is a tie all the way. This is 4.5 Everest, 4.5 Big Thunder. Oh man, it's gonna come. We have the chance for this to be a tie,
a true tie, yeah,
completely. Okay. Oh gosh, this isn't getting easier. Okay. Round 10. Some rides do more than entertain. They anchor a whole land, shaping its feel and making it stronger, clearer, and more immersive. The winner of this round will be the ride that best strengthens its host land. This is new. Last episode, we did the ride that was the least skippable. We felt like there was too much overlap between that and like re-rideability. So we're broadening the scope here. This is tough.
Yeah, this is tough-ish.
No, you don't think it's tough? Oh.
I just think Big Thunder is Frontierland. Like that is like, I mean,
it is Asia. Everest is Asia.
Yeah, but I think Asia as a land feels way less distinct than Frontierland does to me. Like when I'm at Animal Kingdom, I'm never thinking about what continent I'm in. I think there is Dino Land USA, there is Avatar, and there is everything else, man. Like that's kind of where I'm at with Animal Kingdom. And so for me, it's like you don't have Frontierland if you don't have Big Thunder, which like in Disneyland you literally don't, because I think it's like the only thing you can do there. But
yeah.
I mean, you guess in Disney World or in Magic Kingdom you have like I guess Splash Mountain counts as part of that, but no, to me it's like it is so iconic that like I think if you were to maybe broaden this to what strengthens its park the most, then I would be giving it to Everest. But I think in terms of its individual land, for me, it's Big Thunder because I just think it is so iconic. Nobody would give a crap about Frontierland if Big Thunder was not there.
Yeah, and so maybe let's debate this round philosophically a bit because in a way, you're favored in this round if your land is weaker. But I think that's okay. I think there's something to be said for if you're a ride that's so impressive that you're drawing people to your land just because of you. I think like a counterexample here would be like Winnie the Pooh in Disneyland in Critter Country, which is now Bayou Country, right? Where it's a little like if that ride didn't exist. So I guess you got to take out Splash Mountain / Tiana's, right? And kind of consider it. It's like, I think if that was still the only ride in that land, no one would go there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Whereas I think Big Thunder, really does just anchor this entire land. Like you said, it is Frontierland. Yeah. And maybe this is a point in its favor. It is often the only ride in Frontierland because that's really all you need. Yeah. Because it's that good.
I think to me, what kind of seals this to me is that, like, if I was just, thinking about it before really going into the specifics and like really analyzing each attraction, I personally would just consider Frontierland a stronger land than Asia, which probably is not true if you look at everything in Asia. But again, it's so iconic that I'm like, Frontierland is like, maybe it's because I've been to Disneyland a lot more than I've been to Disney World. I mean, you're in the opposite situation, and you might still feel similarly.
No, I mean, I think. Here's the kicker for me. Expedition Everest is in Asia. Big Thunder is Frontierland.
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
Does that make sense, listeners? Tell us if that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I think it adds so much character, so much charm. The kinetic motion of the trains. You can see this from, like the very moment you start walking to Frontierland, it's drawing you in, it beckons. 100%. Expedition Everest, you could mistake it as maybe just a big prop in a way that you can't with Big Thunder. And I think it just, I guess Asia, I don't know if this subtracts against it, but there are the animal trails in Asia, which is a reason to be there. Yeah, I think Big Thunder Mountain is Frontierland, and for that reason, you got to give it to Big Thunder. Okay. So what does that bring us to? That brings us to 5.5 for Big Thunder. Yeah, 5.5 Big Thunder, 4.5 Expedition Everest. But I have a feeling we might not have a true tie, because we come to the final
which invokes the feeling of being a cowboy the most. Like, oh, frick, I forgot about this one.
All right, the final round. While our other rounds evaluate clear criteria, certain rides earn a place in the broader theme park canon. Touchstones known and loved across generations and across parks. The winner of this round will be the ride that is the most iconic. This is, we have this round in here just to account at the very end that the kind of the uncapturable that you can't clearly evaluate. I feel like we tip our hands a little as we talk about it throughout the other rounds. I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I feel like at the end of the day, you do have to award these rides that are iconic. I mean, that's the best way to describe them. And come on, Big Thunder. It's in 4 parks. I think you show Expedition Everest to someone, like a picture to someone who hasn't been to a theme park, they're kind of like, oh, what is that? I think you could show Big Thunder. I think there are people who have never even been to Disneyland who would recognize Big Thunder.
Associate that. I think, before we started this, and at the beginning we were talking about the Facade, and I immediately went to look up a picture of Expedition Everest, and when I saw it, I was like, man, that's really cool. But that wasn't my first thought. The silhouette of Expedition Everest is not burned into my mind the way that the silhouette of Big Thunder Mountain is, where it's like I could draw that.
I wasn't able to share this in the fun facts, but ABC did order a pilot based on Big Thunder Mountain in 2013. They've never ordered a pilot based on Expedition Everest.
If we go to the graveyard of ABC pilots, I mean, come on, we could.
Do you remember Eli Stone?
That is interesting. That it is there is. Did it ever get? It never got aired. Did it?
It never got aired.
Okay,
which is crazy because ABC's aired a lot of stuff.
I know, because I'm trying to think about TV shows and movies based off of rides. You got 2 Haunted Mansion movies. You got a Jungle Cruise ride. And
Pirates is the best.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The biggest one.
So it's like, and Big Thunder. Hopefully it comes out of the vault someday. Putting that on Disney Plus.
Okay. We've got to give both rides fair representation. I'm with you. I think Big Thunder is kind of clearly leading here. I think the fact that it's in 4 different parks is impressive. One day we'll have to do a matchup, because I don't want this just to be the which ride is in more parks round.
Yeah. I
bet there are some rides that have found their way into multiple parks, which I wouldn't consider more iconic than another ride. But
I think I just don't want to spoil. I think our last episode had that exact situation.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll never tell. And
You'll never know.
you gotta watch it.
We'll delist the episode as soon as this one goes live, so nobody will ever know.
What a podcast strategy.
You can only watch the most current episode. Like, guys, make sure to subscribe to our $300 a month Patreon so you can get access to previous episodes.
Okay. Now Everest is great. And I'm with you when we talk about, like, I think Everest has a really, really solid case to be the ride that is plussed a park the most in theme park history. I think because prior to this, the real big attraction at Animal Kingdom was Kilimanjaro Safaris, which is great.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and then Disney ran an ad campaign telling you that it's not a zoo. It's like literally they had they made their big ride, the Kilimanjaro Safari, and then had to run an ad campaign saying, "Hey guys, this isn't a zoo. You can do other things here too." So I'm like, okay, maybe actually putting a good ride in there is now. I mean, now that Flight of Passage is there, I think it is kind of made, but it does make us Yeti heads very. We can get on Expedition Everest more now due to that. But
I think another, again, I'm just thinking about kind of iconic. I'm with you. If you ask, like, which one strengthens its park the most, one of the reasons they can't bring down Expedition Everest to fix the Yeti is because it's so popular. It eats so many people. And so it's kind of funny, if they do ever fix the Yeti one day, it'll come at a time where Expedition Everest is no longer that popular and they can justify bringing it down to fix it, which they never will. Yeah. And so Expedition Everest is really, it's such a strength of Animal Kingdom. But it's not nearly as iconic as Big Thunder. I think most people who have never been to Disneyland, if you say, "What's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad?" will tell you, "Isn't that like a Disney thing?" But they won't say that at Expedition Everest. Is there anything else we can give to Everest, or is this a closed deal?
I think it's a closed deal. Yeah,
it's Big Thunder.
So what? Yeah, final score. What do we got?
Final score, let's see. So Big Thunder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.5 to Expedition Everest, 4.5. Congratulations, Big Thunder. You truly are the better ride.
And now that we've finished, I can reveal that I actually prefer Expedition Everest. I actually prefer that ride on a whole, but I do think it loses in a lot of these matchups.
Oh, really?
It's interesting. I love Expedition Everest.
But it's a great ride. But you know, we got to be. We're just the referees here. There's
no personal opinions being said here. Trust me. Never.
How do you feel about that final score? 6.5 to 4.5.
4.5. I mean, the half point was kind of weird for me. It's like I was picturing like an 8 and 3 in favor of Big Thunder. So actually, Expedition Everest got out better than I was expecting. But again, for my personal sensibilities, I like Expedition Everest, but I also think I typically lean towards more thrilling stuff. Like you were talking about how you don't love amusement parks. I obviously prefer a theme park, but I would definitely go back to Magic Mountain. I gotta
make it out there one day.
Just riding like a billion roller coasters in one day is great. I mean, even Lagoon in
Utah. I like any theme park you can see a picture of Brigham Young.
But they have the Cannibal there, which is a roller coaster with like zero theming, but it's freaking awesome, and I love that. So
it's I think this is a really impressive showing from Expedition Everest, and one thing we're excited about with the potential for this podcast is this isn't the last you'll see of Expedition Everest. Everest will one day match up against another ride. I think off the top of my head, we've got to do an Everest versus Matterhorn episode.
100%. Those feel very analogous to each other.
Yeah. So one day Everest, I think there are a lot of rides you could match Everest up against, and it'll clean their clocks. Goofy Sky School for one.
Goofy Sky School. We're gonna do a Goofy Sky School versus is it Primeval World?
Primeval World. That's dead. It doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. They're getting rid of all of Dinoland USA.
Yeah, they're doing a like America themed, right?
Yeah,
or America's themed. Central South America.
No, it's It's Louisiana themed.
It's Dino. They got rid of it to do it. I guess they got rid of Dinoland USA and they're putting in another America themed thing. It's just
USA.
Yeah, it's the same thing with no dinosaur theming. It's just all generic carnival theming.
Expedition Everest will be back, folks. And let us know in the comments if you think there's a ride it would match up well against. We gotta, we want it to be a fair fight, but I think Big Thunder earns this. I think Big Thunder is a fantastic ride, and who knows, maybe one day it will go up against a ride where it can't hold its own.
Yeah, if Goofy Sky School makes it in, then I would shudder to think of that match. Goofheads, I'm sorry for making fun of your ride, but
okay, well, thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned. The next matchup will be Peter Pan versus It's a Small World. What do you think of that, Davis?
I am curious because I think I'm probably more keen on It's a Small World than a lot of people. I actually like a lot of that ride. It's another one where we'll have to talk about what versions of each ride we're doing. Right. I believe the Disneyland version is superior in most every way. I think both Disneyland versions are kind of superior. So
yeah, I wonder if maybe we'll make a rule that is the best. You just take the best from every version of the ride, because like Midway Mania, we didn't give it credit because the California line is not nearly as good as the Orlando line.
The Orlando line. And there's the Gaping Maw of the Tokyo ride too. So
go check out that episode, folks. I made sure to include photos of the Gaping Maw. Yeah, and let us know, listeners, if you have any thoughts about, like, should we take the best of every version, or should we, I guess within reason, or should we pick and say like Disneyland versus Disneyland? I don't know. But Peter Pan versus Small World, I'm excited because our previous episodes, Astro Blasters versus Midway Mania, that's 2 shooter rides. We did 2 roller coasters this week, but Small World versus Peter Pan, it's 2 dark rides, but very different ride systems, very different vibes. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. And we don't have any of our social set up. I don't know if we'll ever get the social set up, but you can email us at contact@pleaseremainheated.com. Can't tell you how thrilled I was that that domain name was available.
We spelled the domain for it.
We got it.
Please Remain Heated's not in hot demand. There's no come on, there hasn't been a single indoor HVAC company that has grabbed that yet.
Dang it! When this podcast flames out, we're gonna
sell on that domain until some company out in freaking North Carolina wants that.
One day I'll share on this podcast. I am the proud owner of way too many domains. I found this website where you can bid on domain names, and I was like, oh, I'll just put in like some opening bids. Surely I'll be outbid. No, I didn't get outbid on any of them. So I own like 10 domain names, which are all so dumb. The only good one is primebrisket.com. I am the proud owner of primebrisket.com.
Like, I believe it redirects to my LinkedIn. I don't know how I got that one.
Okay, well, you can contact us at contact@pleaseremainheated.com and leave your comments, feedback on the episode. Did we get it wrong, folks? Let us know if you think this was a sham. If we need to redo this one day, we'll see. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you guys.